BC WrestlePod family, hello! Welcome back to the Bro! We're here to go over Ring of Honor for you for this week, and we have most of the OG crew here. We are trading Andrew out for Mikey to come back, which is great to have that kind of in there. We also have Jesse along for the ride with us as well. And of course, I'm here, JBL. We are so excited to go over this week's Ring of Honor with you, a delve into the women's television title tournament coming up for you. But before we do, housekeeping out of the way, reminders, we do have social media. It's everywhere at BC WrestlePod, and people do respond, so please follow us there. We've got a Twitch channel. When we do our live reactions and live streams, we are on Twitch as well as on YouTube at BC WrestlePod, both places. Subscribe, follow, do all those things there. Click on that alert bell to make sure that you know when we send out our next anything, really, any one of our videos, because we're going out almost every day. We cover almost every Fed. And of course, you can drop some comments down there on this video or any other ones and let us know what you're liking, what you're not, what you think works, or just that Jesse is the most handsome man in the world. I think I got everything out of the way, and thank you. I'll take your donation for that, Jesse, later. But
wait.
Yes.
Don't you forget, don't bury the lead. We're going to have a physical appearance.
Well, that's right. If you're watching this...
We got to start pushing that now.
I'm just saying, if you're watching this when this is going to happen, we will be at I think it's Wrestle Event or WrestleCon in New Jersey.
New Jersey, yes. WrestleCon in Middletown Township, May 18th and 19th. They are 10 to 3 both days.
And we will be having a table there with the BC WrestlePod folks, and a lot of our hosts will be there. So come meet us, come hang out for a little while, and join us as we go meet our wrestling faves. We're looking at you, Abaddon and Billy Starks and Julia Hart and all those fun ones there. But
pretty much all the women's wrestlers.
Pretty much. That out of the way, though. Gentlemen, hands in. Observe the code of honor. We will begin our review of Ring of Honor for this week, and we start off with a bang. Into the tournament we go. This was the overarching narrative of the night. We are starting the tournament for the women's television title, and our first match of the night was Queen Aminata. Awesome. Great to see her working here. Against J-Rod with no entrance. Are we getting squatches in the first round of a tournament? What's going on here?
I was so up and down with this. First off, they said J-Rod. I heard A-Rod. I was like, well, this is going to be very confusing. But then I looked at the card. No, it's J-Rod, okay. And I was like, I am not happy. First night I wrote down, we're going to start the tournament with a squash match. Not thrilled about that. And then Riccaboni had said, oh, it's going to be 16 matches to start the brackets. I was like, oh, that's 32 women. That's going to be a lot. Okay, I can kind of understand the need for it. And then later in the night, we get the reveal of the actual bracket, and he misspoke. I think he meant 16 talent, 16 performers, not 16 matches. And right. Now I'm back to the not a fan of having squash matches starting it, but I will say this match was better than I expected it to be.
Very much so.
I don't mind squash matches for tournaments, especially this big, because at least to my knowledge, we don't even have that many full-time ROH women's on the roster right now. So we're going to have to bring in some other people to kind of eat a pin. I'm just happy that Queen got a win, because as somebody who reviews all the multiverse of Ring of Honor and AEW, it's nice to know that at least in Ring of Honor, Queen is going to pick up a win, because over in the AEW multiverse of madness, she is eating pins left and right.
Yeah, they're booking her strong here, and they're really keeping it on her. Even with the promo that we're going to talk about in a little bit too, they
I
really
love
are
hearing her
focusing
speak. Yes.
She's a great powerhouse to watch here. The flying miss that J-Rod took looked really bad, like she hit her head. That was kind of a little worrying there. I also really appreciate having Caprice and Ian talking about the fact that J-Rod had faced Trish Adora in Japan. And so this was a person that had a pedigree, is a veteran, and had taken on someone from ROH to earn this spot. So really good to kind of have that going along there. And squatches early, it's tough to deal with. But again, I also see this as AEW doesn't want to bring down other AEW talent to lose to our homegrown ROH, because then that would throw their continuity off for some reason, even though they do it the other way. And so now we just get this first round of the way, and we get to some real meaty matches next week. Talk about meaty matches, though. We have the Infantry coming out against a jobber tag team in Midnight Heat, but a cohesive tag team. A tag team that is brought up, has been together for quite a long time. I was happy with that fact that they weren't just facing two random jobbers they'd thrown together on the night. This was a team that has been working in Defy and a bunch of other places and is around.
I really liked this match. I thought this was, honestly, I was I was kind of befuddled going in like, oh, this is going to be another squash, but it turned into much more than that. Yes, the Midnight Heat were jobbers, but this was a really great tag match from two really, really strong tag teams. And I'm happy to see the Infantry get a win. They've been on kind of a losing streak lately, so I'm happy to see them get a win in there too. And I'm sure Mikey might comment on this, but I really like the purple and gold gear that the Infantry have. I think that's a really nice look. It's almost as good as their white gear, but
I love it so much. The Infantry can never do any wrong in my eyes. And I agree with Jesse. I love that after a bit of a losing streak for the last couple of weeks, or not picking up the win, because sometimes they would lose but not be the people that get pinned in the multi-tag team matches.
Commentary brought that up about the fact that they really haven't lost as a tag team in a while. They've only lost in the multi-man matches.
And I thought this was a really fun match. I'm just happy to see now that, you know, we've established the Infantry and we've seen them a lot more. Now we're kind of funneling them into a question mark feud.
Definitely. I don't know if either of you noticed Eddie Pearl, who was the guy in the full kind of like top part, not just the trunks. He started sweating by standing there, and he seemed like he was having a heart. He was gassed for most of this match. And I don't know if that's his gimmick or just he was in a bad way, but he reminded me of those classic 80s wrestlers with the long, like, spaghetti arms that don't look that strong, but somehow seem to be able to get places. It was
He's
very
literally
cool
the embodiment of wacky inflatable R2, man. He's like,
yeah. We then get away from that. The Infantry pick up the win, which is wonderful, and they do it with Boot Camp, which was brought up because later in the night we have that resurface, but Boot Camp is shown off as their big finisher. And we cut backstage. They're trying to track down Queen Amanat. She's walking in the back. She's enjoying herself, and she brings up the fact that she didn't move here to be mediocre. She didn't leave Ghana to come to ROH and lose. She is going to take it to everybody on this roster, and I believe her, gentlemen. I believe Queen Amanata. Do you believe Queen Amanata?
I thought the promo was serviceable. I didn't like the use of the word juicy twice. That felt like icky to me. But aside from that, she seemed like she believed it. So that got me to like, okay, she's confident in herself, which is good. That's what I want to see. But the continent is juicy. Is there a lot of dehydration and starvation going on in Africa, or is...
It's everywhere, but I will agree with you, Jesse. It did sound like it was a thing that she was told, this is now your catchphrase. You've got to get it over. Say it multiple times. So yeah, she did.
Minus the juicy bit, because I didn't mind that. I actually disagree with Jesse. I like this promo a lot more, and I think that's only because I can relate to Queen in the sense that even though she is speaking in English, I have read it, and I know that necessarily English is not her first language, but it is something she picked up because, especially in the wrestling business, you need to know. She told us, you know, she didn't move here to the United States just to go home empty-handed, to lose, to be mediocre. She's literally Queen, and I love that so much for her.
Oh man, it is a struggle sometimes when you're not based in your own language that to really come across to an actual audience that way. Just like it can be a struggle when you don't have much build or a little bit of no chemistry build into a match to start off a tournament of some sorts, and you're basically giving us what should have been a later in the tournament match first. As we had Rachel Ellering taking on Layla Hirsch in a first round match for the TV title, and I did like that commentary was helping them flow the story along of like, hey, they've chosen to make this a pure rules type of setup, no strikes, no anything else. And the first thing in my head is like, well, where's the women's pure rules title then? I want to see a women's pure rules title now. That would be amazing. But it was cool to see them work a couple different styles and kind of like work their way to a shoot fight that they were both on board for.
I might be giving Jesse some ammunition here, but this was my match of the night. It was between that and the girlfriends fighting, but it came very close for me picking the girlfriends fighting in our main event. But honestly, Rachel and Layla individually, I love so much. And then just because of this match had a lot of things that I really enjoy from my matches. It's good wrestling. The shoot fight was an added bonus to it. And you know, I know sometimes people complain about stopping in the middle of the match, like when Doc Samson had a walkover to make sure Pop Elleries are in place. I was just like, ouch. I've done that to someone before, and I've had it done to me before too. And it's not a good feeling. Layla Hirsch will kill you. She knows 50 different ways that she's gonna submit you, tap you out, and pretty much put you to sleep. I am disappointed. The only critique I have is I wanted to see this match closer, maybe semis or even quarterfinals. But the fact that this was a first round match kind of baffled my mind a little bit, because you have two established Ring of Honor women's roster, women's talent. And we know both of them are very good individually, but we're going to put this match first round. I still enjoyed the match, but that was my only big critique about it. But overall, I enjoyed this. I loved it. And I'm torn that Rachel lost, but I'm also excited to see Layla pick up the win here. Okay, Jesse.
I'm going to show my reference level first before I let Jesse get into this. If any out there has seen Army of Darkness, did this not remind you every time Layla kind of scrabbled up Rachel, kind of like the little mini evil Ashes climbing on Ash with like trying to take him down, or like getting in his mouth to like pour stuff down there, like just basically she was like that gremlin that just wouldn't let go. It was really kind of fun to watch. All right,
is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right. Well, a great man once said that all power in the world is measured by how much love you have. And I was floored by this match. I absolutely loved it.
Yes!
I was so skeptical going in, but the story that these two women told throughout the match, I was a little like Mikey in the why is this in the first round? But it makes sense to me because it allows their story to continue and not be sacrificed at the hands of the tournament. It was a great match. There was so much in-ring psychology going on there. This was absolutely my match of the night.
I will third that one. Also my match of the night as well. Well put together. I thought the messiness was on purpose in a lot of the ways, and I was like, where is the crowd? They need to be here for this. So, boo on you, crowd. Good on you, Ian Caprice.
This crowd also sucked too, by the way, as a quick tangent. I don't know what's going on with this crowd. Y'all sucked.
They got an amazing show, and they just didn't let it happen. But we went from there. We went backstage, and Nyla Rose cuts a promo, and she's standing there, and who's sneaking up behind her but Athena with a chunk table trying to take her out. And then we get a brawl, and I loved that Nyla and Athena just demolished these local jobbers and took them to pieces in the most fluid way. It's like, no, you ain't touching me. I can beat you up. And it was so good. I love Nyla Rose so much. I love Athena.
My favorite part about this whole bit, I went back and rewound it quite a few times just to do a count. The security staff took more bumps than either Nyla Rose or Athena. They got beat up more than either of the talent.
That's what they're there for.
As a side note, I need to figure out where Nyla Rose got her stuff. Literally hat, jacket, like literally basic labeling. I was like, I kind of want that now. That's brilliant and it is ingenious.
So everyone out there on Patreon or anyone that wants to support the channel, send Mikey those things. We'll find them somewhere. But this set up a later promo in the evening, which we'll get to. Again, this Ring of Honor seemed like it was setting up storylines not for future weeks until later, but it gave you that impetus to keep watching the show to see the next rebuttal, the next thing that was going on, and it kept me engaged. I was very excited about that, which was cool, including the next match we got into, another tag match against ostensibly another tag team, although they're part of a faction, not so much a general tag team, but the Outrunners were out there taking on Joe Braxton and Ice Willis from Lights Camera Faction. And, we had seen the Midnight Heat. Now we see the Outrunners. The 80s are in vogue again. We're seeing these older, like, throwback tag teams that are having a good time. And you know what? I'm enjoying it.
This was a great match. One of the best parts was the Outrunners giving the Code of Honor to themselves.
As the Mega Powers with the whole...
Yeah. I'm glad the Outrunners finally got a win because they've been nothing but losing since I've watched them. My only complaint about this match is I wanted it to go a little bit longer. I had fun with this match. I wanted it to keep going.
Oh, the 80s guys don't have the stamina for long matches. I mean, come on.
I beg to differ, but...
You've watched an Ultimate Warrior match. Those things don't go longer than 2 minutes.
I mean, that's very, very fair, but we also had to see the landscape of everybody that was involved during that time, too.
Yes.
There was more problematic stuff. There was more problems to deal with than short matches during that time. that we're still feeling the ramifications.
Mikey, what did you think of the Outrunners?
You know, I thought this was all right. I love the Outrunners. I mean, I didn't hate this match. It was all right.
Well, the hope is that, coming out of this with the storyline they're getting going with, setting up that they stole the infantry's finishing move at the end, which was called up by Caprice, we're going to have a little bit of a thing of like, what the heck are you doing, like taking our shot? We have no beef with you, but apparently we do. So I like that they got this shorter because now they're setting up longer matches as they go along that they can set up with the actual named talent ROH.
See, and that's where I was like, okay, I didn't hate this match as much as I did because we got that payoff at the end, but how do I word this very carefully? I feel that if that's the best part of the match that I can tell you is that we're setting up for something down the line for later, I feel that I'm going to forget about this match like in T-minus a day or two.
I think you'll forget who is involved in it, but you'll remember the end of the match, which they spin off into the next promo when backstage Lexi's trying to find the two guys in the infantry and go, hey, did you know? Did you see? How's it going? Did you see they stole your move? And we then walk and talk, and we go and find the Outrunners. And we're going to do that later in the night, but they get upset. Like, really, is this happening? Is this what's going on? I think they're being experimental with it a little bit for what they can do with an actual promo thing on ROH to see if it works, and it's definitely keeping me involved because I've never seen it before.
I love that Lee Moriarty's being messy. I love that he was the messenger for this. This is what I wanted to see from Moriarty. I'm like, be a messy person.
He is a messy person, but now is Shane Taylor Productions involved too? Who knows?
Please, that would be great.
Oh man! So we go from the infantry backstage with a very messy Lee Moriarty to your favorite, Brian Keith is on our screens tonight, and I wrote down the gentleman's name he took on, and I can't read my own handwriting. Does anyone remember?
Slice Boogie.
Slice Boogie. This was a squash match, through and through. It was a nothing match to me because Brian Keith has done better and didn't seem to carry anything to do with Slice at all. I couldn't remember his name.
They only did it because they were in Texas. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, Mikey. I know you can't physically hit me from this far away, but I could have cut this match off the card. It did nothing for me.
No, I 100% agree with you. And it's kind of weird that this is what we're giving Brian Keith after he had a slobber knocker against Eddie Kingston, where we learned that he is now all elite too.
This seemed like this is the contractually last obligated match he had to have in ROH, and now he's moving up to the main roster, so obviously
I don't want him to stay in Ring of Honor, but you know what?
He's done nothing there.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So hopefully he'll do something. I just like him, period, and I just want to see good things for him. That's all I want. But yeah, I agree with Jesse. You could have taken this match out because I like Brian Keith, but not enough for me to like defend this match with every fiber of my being. I have to have some credibility as a wrestling reviewer.
Save your fiber, Mikey. There's other things that need to be defended. Save them from that. Brian Keith will be fine. One thing that did not need to be defended, though, was our next match in the TV tournament. This was one of the hardest hitting matches I have seen from these two women in a while. And to see them start, it was Mercedes Martinez taking on Trish Adora, both known as very heavy strikers, with the Lariat Tubman and a bit of a submission specialist. These two were working body parts in ways that you don't see outside of Japan. And they were taking it to each other. I was impressed with this match.
I love this match. This was close to my other match of the night. And I just caught this recording that the name of Trish's finish is the Lariat Tubman, which I find hilarious.
Yes.
It's a great match. It was measured. It was physical. Mercedes really showed her veteran prowess there. This was just a great match overall.
Again, I'm so disappointed that this was a first round match, but I'm so happy that we got it anyway. Look, I love Mercedes Martinez with all of my being. She is one of my favorites. They also mentioned she is a former Ring of Honor Women's Champion too, which is going to come into play later in this tournament and help a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm happy to see Trish work a more stiffer style, especially against an opponent like Mercedes. Listen,
her going to Japan definitely changed up her style a good amount of ways.
If you can work with Julia and you can survive Julia after getting a beatdown, because listen, we all know how hard Julia can hit. This was perfect. I love this match so much. It was so good.
It definitely was, Mikey. And I don't know if you also noticed this. At a point where there was a couple of reversals, and then Trish ended up like on her front. Did you see her get up in the Scott Steiner push-up and start doing those in front of her? Which was like, oh yeah, Trish just showing off. Loving that. I like cocky Trish a lot.
I like that sliding German that she did, where she's on her knees and bends all the way back. That's the amount of flexibility required and strength for that is just impressive.
Hopefully we see more stuff like that in the rest of the tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. But then we get our first kind of like real promo with the friends after this. Our second promo about the tournament, as Rachel Ellering going over the fact that she didn't have the heart tonight. Things gave out on her. She was really upset, but she was happy for her friend as Layla enters, and Layla's feeling bad and not celebrating. I liked the back and forth here was a little bit less stilted than it has been in a while when Layla Hirsch not being that great on the mic. I don't like that she calls her Lay. I feel that just this feels weird to me. I don't know why. I don't know. That's just me.
I have not said good things about these promos in the past, and I know that because they've not been very good. This, I was shocked and stunned. It was surprisingly good. There was some earnestness behind it. It felt like they believed it too.
They did. They seem to. They seem to have a genuine friendship or respect, which is really cool to see from them. And I always end up forgetting, like, Rachel Ellering really is the full package as a wrestler. She's amazing, both on the mic and the ring, and they need to showcase that more.
I agree. I enjoyed this promo a lot more than I have past promos with Rachel and Layla, especially since Layla is still working on the skills on the mic, which is going to happen. There's this, I'm here for the sappiness of professional wrestling. That's also one of the things that draws me in. I was like, I'm watching these people play characters, but I love the hard-hitting stuff. I love the in-ring. Love the craziness that we get. But we also need a downswing of, like, we need to have some slower moments. We need to have some tender-hearted moments, and we need to develop characters. So while Layla is still not necessarily the greatest on the mic quite yet, I think this added, and this answered a lot of the questions I had once I saw, this match was happening in the tournament first round. It added another direction and another dimension to this, friendship that these two had, which makes that eventual, when they have to go against each other, when stakes are super high, even more heartbreaking later.
And the heel turn that's obviously coming down the pike, because we all know it's happening. It's wrestling.
Rachel's going to turn, watch.
It's going to happen. But we go away from the earnestness, from the wonderfulness of that promo, to what I like to term the Jesse match of the night. Because this is all of Jesse's favorite things at once. You've got the Righteous. You've got Lance Archer, who we were talking about this like 2 days before. We still don't understand why he's attached to them or how it doesn't work, but somehow in this match, it just seemed to flow a lot better for some reason. And I also, personal love of mine, Lance Archer always has a great intimidating entrance whenever he comes in, whether he's throwing his opponent to the ring, doing something else. Him chasing John Cruz out of the ring and around the announcer's desk was just pure amazing. I love that stuff. Yeah.
I love this. If it wasn't for Layla and Rachel earlier in the night, this would have been my match of the night. I was so excited to see the 6-person tag with the Righteous and Lance Archer actually work. It worked tonight. It worked so well. I'm starting to pay attention to some of you. Like, I don't even get distracted by, it's the Righteous are on screen. I'm starting to be able to pay attention to the small, important details, because they're paying attention to details. When Valentine went to do the monkey flip on Dutch, and Dutch caught him and lifted him up for the vertical suplex, I noticed that Dutch gave himself a higher angle up to make sure he was protecting Valentine, because he knew that was a pretty dangerous spot. So kudos to him on that. When Lance Archer's just in there running roughshod over everyone, you can audibly hear Vincent giggling while he's just standing waiting to get tagged in. It's stuff like that that keeps me engaged in it. And I love it so much. I love this match. I was very, very happy. It was so much better than the previous 6-person tags they've been having.
It was cohesive.
It was. And I will consistently say this too. The Righteous have done a very good job of rebuilding themselves after being played the fool back at a few pay-per-views
that time ago the other year.
Super Friedman,
yeah. And I love Lance Archer regardless. I think he is a fun character to watch as wrestling goes.
think
And
it'd be
I
fun
also-
to see
I-
John Cruz versus Serpentico. I think
Yeah.
that'd be a
John
fun
Cruz
match.
versus Serpentico would be an
Gimme, gimme,
amazing match. Can't wait to see that hologram technology work. Did you also enjoy, like, at the beginning, after they had announced the Righteous and Landsharks were there, all the jobbers were at the desk like, don't say our names, don't introduce us. No. Okay, yeah, we're here. Oh God, we're here. Yeah, we're
They're
gonna get
like-
squashed.
We're like, oh, we're gonna die, but you know.
The part I really liked is you can see Vincent's movements as he's doing the snaps coming down. He's almost like conducting the audience, and he's getting so much more buy-in with that. I love that kind of stuff. When I get to participate, it's fun, which is why I miss Tony Nese, because I haven't had my training in a while.
I'm feeling bloated and I need more Tony Nese. Where is he
Yeah.
to make me stand up and do my stuff? We then go backstage from the Righteous, taking them out in a spectacular fashion to the infantry finally confronting the Outrunners, saying that they saw them. Oh look, they call the move the Miami Overdrive. It's not boot camp. It's the Miami Overdrive. They love that. And like the infantry calling out that they saw them at like the Cow Palace in like 1975. It's like just really going full in on the gimmick itself and just calling them out. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was Turbo or Floyd saying, we've been doing it since the Sportatorium days. The Sportatorium closed in 1998.
Yeah. Oh my God. And yet they're the youngest guys in wrestling, obviously.
Obviously.
Can I ask a quick question, Mikey, before you go into it?
No, I just can't go for it.
Was the Gatorade in the bottles actually pee? Because I couldn't tell. It was that like weirdly yellow that they were drinking.
I mean,
Eh,
that's what the original Gatorade color used to be.
pretty much.
Just fun fact, the only reason it was dyed like that when it originally came out, because at the camera technology at the time, that color was the only thing that would be distinguished on the Technicolor television. So that's why it was dyed to look like pee. Because yellow
Good to know.
yellow on the color spectrum is the only thing that would show up properly on tube televisions back in the day. Yes, I'm a nerd.
The more you know.
Exactly. But back to the actual thing. This is over the top ridiculous. And for them to fight over who has the right to the finisher, I need give me wrestling cord to determine who gets custody of this finisher.
Dalton
This is
Castle presiding.
Yes, Dalton Castle as the judge. I need Johnny TV as the bailiff.
The bailiff.
Taya Valkyrie. Look, once the
Hey, Valkyrie
TVs.
stenographer. Yep.
Yep. And just have the whole entire tag team division as your jury.
Oh, the Outrunners are losing that full wholeheartedly. You know they're losing that.
It is so stupid, but in the best way possible for these two teams to fight. And sometimes I love my stupidity in wrestling like this, because you need to balance out the high-flying microwave generation of go, go, go with the wrestling. And sometimes you just need the camp, which I love so much.
Can I make an addendum to Wrestler's Court?
Sure.
Do it.
Can we have Lexi Nair be the defense attorney and the prosecuting attorney?
Yes, absolutely. That is the only correct choice.
Okay.
Love it. Both sides.
Renee
All
as the
right.
guest attorney.
Well, we move on to a great idea for a TV show they should actually do as promos. I think ROH would benefit from, to the king of what needs to be on TV, which is Dalton Castle taking on Kenny King, who I knew Kenny King from his old run in ROH. This man is basically if Josh Woods had a personality. It's crazy good how good he is, and to see him taking on Dalton and actually having the wherewithal and the charisma to react to what Dalton's doing as he's coming in this disheveled way. He added so much to this for Dalton to do, getting out of the bangarang in a fun way, taking him over and over again, making sure that the wrestling was crisp and that he still could smell Dalton and it was kind of weird. It was really, really fun. And I also really enjoyed Dalton trying to tip Rick Knox with whatever fluff he found in his jumpsuit on the way into the ring. It was really ridiculous.
This was a great match. Kenny King, I had never seen him before. I was very impressed by him. You had a moment where you couldn't read your notes. I read my notes too quick, and I read Kerry King versus Dalton Castle. I don't remember that happening, but okay. I think my favorite parts were when he's getting out of his jumpsuit and he gets stuck, so he starts thrashing around like a toddler trying to get it off. And then the visual of him doing the bangarang with the boys spinning in the background, just such a cool look. I loved that.
It may be the last time we see that.
No, don't say that. They'll find a way.
I don't know. I don't know.
Nature will find a way.
Life finds a way.
I am super happy to see Kenny King back. I think I'm the host that has most recently seen Kenny because he did not even a small stint. He was there for almost a year and a half in a small little indie federation, according to some. You know, now that you said it, JVL, that Kenny King is Josh Woods if he had a personality, I can't unsee it now, and I'm mad at you, but like in the best way possible.
I want that dream match. I want Kenny King to take on Josh Woods now, just to see.
Seriously, give me that match immediately. And if this means that Kenny King is going to become a regular staple in Ring of Honor, I am here for it because we could always. I'm never going to say no to more men's singles wrestlers in the division.
Oh yeah. It'd be fun to see him come in a little more full time and take this on. This was a fun match, athletically gifted, but also great storytelling, which led into Dalton getting on the microphone and just saying, "I can't wait a week. I need to know what this is. I haven't slept. I'm punchy. I want to break that face." And the TV's obliged to come out, and Taya plays the crowd to a T, while Johnny weirdly stumbles a bit on the mic a little bit tonight. So it was very interesting.
I was kind of surprised to see him stumble because normally he's pretty good on the mic.
I lost it after he called Dalton Cheese Man, so I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't care if he stumbles, that's good.
I loved Taya's laugh, and then Dalton laughing at her and mocking her for laughing that way because she was mocking him. So it's like the back and forth mocking laughs, which was fun. But
yeah,
we
it's
get
like
our
siblings fighting.
Oh my god, and they do it so well too because they both are just wonderful. But we get our stipulation for the upcoming match at Revolution. If he wants a match with Johnny TV, they want the boys. Whatever that means, they want the boys.
Did you catch one of them faint when he said that?
Yeah.
It made it so much more real for me. It's those small things that I love.
So good. And Dalton contemplating it as he's walking out the ramp. And he's not walking up the ramp as the winner, even though he was the winner. He's walking on the loser part of the ramp.
Just the side.
So good.
I'm going to say something very blasphemous here. I think from a character development and a story standpoint, I actually would love to see Dalton kind of give the voice to the TVs. Only, look, hear me out here. You already have Dalton Castle spiraling down into madness. And if you want to portray these spiral to go down even further, and you want to see Dalton Castle become more and more loose in the upstairs department, I think it would be a fun way. Do I personally want to see it? Not necessarily. Will I cry about it? Probably. But the inner writer in me is just salivating at the chance to see a development for Dalton Castle to continue to go down the drain. I love Dalton Castle, but this version of him is very interesting. The most logical step is for this frustration to turn into obsession, which means he is going to be so tunnel vision. He's willing to throw everything and anything. And I think the TVs are the perfect foil to this because they notice this, they recognize it, and any good villain takes advantage of the single-mindedness of a character like Dalton Castle. So I am here for it.
It'll be very interesting and kind of telling that if he gives the boys up, we kind of know where this is going to end up because it's going to continue his downward spiral. Someone else who's spiraling on this roster, though, is Athena. She comes on to TV and talks about the fact that she's never been beat up like this. She's never had to fight this hard, and she's upset because this is her show. She protects this show. She is the leader and has been here to make sure that everything runs, which she's not wrong about. This was a babyface turn promo for Athena, still being this badass at what she's doing, but feeling responsible for letting this beast into her backyard. I loved her delivery on this. This was spectacular. And now she asks for a tables match between her and Nyla at Revolution. Not at Revolution, no.
It's literally next week.
Oh, even better. Oh, Jesse, did you freeze?
Oh, no.
No, I see his eyes.
No, I just love this promo. This was a good promo. I thought the delivery was great.
Had me worried for a second.
And I get a tables match out of it, so.
Or do we?
Or no, we are getting a tables match, but
It's not
We're getting
just
a few
any
of
tables
them.
match.
we're gonna get the ante-up is real. This was a beautiful way to turn Athena babyface while still not sacrificing all of the badassery that she has built up with being this fantastic heel character over the last year, and some change holding this title.
And Jesse, you had brought up with us as well that you would love to see Athena as like the chasing non-champion, going after Nyla and like having to figure out how to be a real wrestler again without a title.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see her as with this face turn be a chasing champion, because to me that's a very compelling story. We've had dominant heel Athena for over a year now. I would like to see this kind of freshen up her character, and I think it'd be a new dynamic, and I think she'd probably have fun playing that character, and I'm here for it. I'd want to see that.
Well, here's to hoping, and we'll talk about the next promo after the last match, because we
my
got a
apologies,
promo to
it
end the show.
Sounds like I swallowed gravel all of a sudden. So
Yeah, all of us are dealing with that. It's what happens. Because we're all so choked up to watch two lovers have to fight each other in the beginning of a tournament, and they tore the crap out of each other, and you can tell that they were having fun doing this. Like, this is what gets them very happy with each other. Diamante taking on Kiera Hogan. Oh, ladies, just keep fighting all day long, please.
Seriously. Gentlemen, let's be honest here, okay? Because this was very... Look, I can say that.
Not booing lesbians, booing the
No,
pun.
I'm booing Mikey specifically.
Booing the pun.
Look, I was gone last week. I need to fill the quota in for the bad dad puns. Andrew's not here, so I have to step up the role. Anyways, this match made me super happy because we are aware of their relationship. But Kiera and Diamante just separately are fantastic. And you can tell that they have worked with each other very often. This isn't the first rodeo. The dichotomy that we got of the ferocity that this match brought, with also, because they are together, the playfulness that both of them shared. Mostly from Kiera Hogan, like when they were going back and forth off the ropes, I think Kiera turned around and like, I was just like, okay.
Yep.
I was like, this is already one of my favorite matches too. Like,
yeah, it's weird to think about that we got better, more compelling first round matches out of every women's person that was on this night than we saw in a lot of the Continental Classic and other places that's been done. These were amazing to watch, and none of them were boring. This was so cool.
Telling you, Maria, Stokely, Jerry Lynn, and whoever else is working down in ROH, need all the other companies to take notes on how you book your talent, specifically your women's talent.
I really enjoyed this match. I think for me the most important part of this match, and probably my favorite part for both of these performers, this was the main event, and it was a proper main event, and they got to be in the main event. Both of them worked so hard. They bring it every match I've seen them in. I was spectacularly happy this was the main event tonight.
Again, close to a match of the night for a lot of us. Very fun to have. But the night wasn't over. Ian and Caprice let us know we're just getting word. There is one more thing. Nyla wants to respond to Athena, and we get our response. And Nyla thinks that, no, I'm not going to let you have what you want as the stipulation. I'm going to take it up another notch. We're getting a 2 out of 3 falls tables match. And then she goes after Billy Starks about what this actually means. Like, just a little thing. This is what this means. Not for anybody else. And I'm like, oh, you wonderful Rube, you. I love you so much.
I love Nyla so much. The line that got me was capiche, caposh. Like, I was like...
She needs that as a t-shirt now.
Yes, capiche, caposh.
I'm very excited for that match. Just in going through my notes and recounting this made me realize I have another addendum for Wrestler's Court. I would like co-judges in Nyla Rose and Dalton Castle.
Oh, yes. They fight over the gavel. Honestly, Dalton Castle versus Nyla Rose. Book it.
We'll get there anyways. But gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our review here. We've had a great experience with this ROH. On the empanada scale, how was this for you? How full are you now? You both won't open your mouths. You're that full.
I'll start. Yeah, we're that full. I'll start because I usually don't. So, I'm usually a pretty harsh critic. Last week was rough. And I know the professor was kind of stunned by that. But this week, honestly, I'm at a 9. I'm at a 9 out of 10 empanadas for this week. We had great matches. We had great women's and tag matches. We had promos that worked and made sense. Storylines being started or actually furthered. Continuity was paid attention to. It was just a great night of wrestling.
Mikey, how about you? I'm texting the professor right now to tell him that he missed a 9 out of 10 match tonight from Jesse.
So, I'm not to upstage Jesse. I'm totally going to miss it. I give this a 9.5 for me. And let me tell you, yes. Here's why. The only other show that I have given this high of a rating to is TNA's Hard to Kill, and this episode gave me that exact feeling. Now, granted, there were a couple of things that I did nitpick. Like, I felt a lot of the tournament matches, these first round matches, I wish we would have waited to had them later in the tournament, especially as we get closer and closer narrowing down the field, which means stakes will be higher and higher. But as someone who loves women's wrestling, this gets a 9.5 from me because the women dominated this show and not a single match was bad. And the promos we got from Athena and Nyla were also fantastic as well. And Lexi kills it every week anyways. Like, there's nothing Lexi can do wrong in my opinion.
No.
And honestly, I totally forgot that men were on the show because of how stacked the women's matches were and how stacked the show was catered towards the women's roster.
I didn't miss them.
Exactly. I didn't miss the men's matches. Now, I'm glad we got Dalton Castle, though, because Dalton Castle, to me, is one of the girls, in my opinion. Like, he is honorary.
He's not man. He's not women. He's just Dalton, and he's lovely.
He's his own entity, and I love it. And then on a more personal level, because women's wrestling is so important to me, it reminded me of, you know, everything that I experienced during the pandemic with my grandmother and us becoming bonded over how much we love women's wrestling. I was just like, my grandma would love the show. And this gets a 9.5 out of me because, yeah, my grandma would be very happy to see how far women's wrestling has come.
I'm going to one-up Mikey and Grandma. I thought this was a 9.75. Structurally, worked the best. Put everything there that we needed. I didn't miss the men. Originally, Jesse, it was a 9.25, but I forgot about Grandma Lagulio, and I had to go with that. It's a 9.75. If you want a great look at what ROH can do with storyline, with great wrestling, and with different types of wrestling, check out the ROH episode 51. That's what you need. Go check it out.
I'm gonna say this for my sake. I am so glad you two rated higher than me because typically I rate the hardest out of anybody, at least in this concept that we have. And I gave it a 9. I was like, something's wrong. I messed up here. And then you two rated higher. Like, oh no, I'm good. Okay, I'm back where I normally am.
You were right on par. But gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to review ROH with you. Hands in, observe the Cone of Honor. Do the outrunner. But for Jesse, for Mikey, for myself, and all of you lovely BC WrestlePod family out there for watching this with us, thank you for joining us this week. Thank you for keeping up with the BC WrestlePod. And remember that, as always, you are Bi-Conic. We're all Bi-Conic together for loving this wonderful art form and especially ROH. And we'll see you in the next video. What were we thinking? We rated that like the best of everything. It was better than Final Battle. What the hell?
Because it was.